Hello, and welcome everyone to Growing Gratitude. It is I, Becca Hector, your host here on Growing Gratitude. This is my weekly live stream in which I talk about the things that I'm grateful for and talk about the challenges that I have as an autistic adult, and then hope that you guys in chat will join me. I am here on Mondays at 11:30 a.m. This is my new time for Growing Gratitude. And next to me is Mr. Schmidt. I think he's going to get himself comfortable because he's realized that he's going to be here for a few minutes. Um, I am starting today with my sunglasses on, even though we are inside, and here's why. I am going to be talking about this a little bit. I really had this vision of what Growing Gratitude was going to be when I brought it back to life, and that it was going to be this combo plan of being back alive and the old pre-recorded Growing Gratitude. The book came out, the book above my head. And so I was like, let's do some cute branding. Let's get ourselves some giant yellow sunglasses. We'll sit outside and do Growing Gratitude. Hi, welcome back, Techno. I'm so excited. Yes, my lives are back. I know I haven't been here in quite some time, but I'm bringing them back because I'm making some shifts and I'm going through some of my own transitions. And thank you so much, Schmidt. Say hello. He's ignoring everyone at this moment, just giving us his back. Maybe he'll turn around. But in any case, I had this really cute idea. I was like, oh, we'll do it outside and it'll be this little casual, comfortable chat. And oh, let me get some cute sunglasses. I'll do it in my sunglasses. It'll be so clever and branded. And then I started doing them. And you guys, it rained every single time I tried to do them. And so I had to come inside. So I don't care anymore. I'm going to wear my sunglasses inside because I always wear my sunglasses pretty much all of the time. And most of the time I am wearing them inside. But that's not the reason that I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it because I make my own rules about my own life and define the way that I want to live it. And I had this vision of what this was going to kind of look like. And so I want to let that vision come to life. So welcome to Growing Gratitude. I will do a little of that. And then I'll put on my real glasses so I can actually see, hey, Morgan, what's going on, right? And so that's the whole deal with the sunglasses, right? That was my whole spiel with it, was that here we were going to be and have, go back to our cute little chats that we were having. And so that's what I was going to do, and so what I did was I kind of just started doing them again. And so like you, Techno Indigo, lots of people haven't seen me in a long time do a live, right? It's been a little bit. And so I wanted to bring them back, but I also needed to get kind of into my groove again and figure out how it was going to be and how that would play out and all of those things, including sunglasses, no sunglasses, inside, outside. How was I going to do it? What do I want it to look like? All of those things. And so I just kind of went about kind of doing it. And so I didn't really share that I've been going back to lives anywhere. And a lot of people have asked me about it recently, like, why are you going back to live? But you haven't shared it on your social. Nobody even really knows. And that was really for a lot of reasons, right? Because the little things in stuff matter. And I had not been doing a lives in a long time, and I needed to like get back into my flow, and I wanted to figure out what this new hybrid of my old versions would be like. And I haven't done a live stream or been in front of the camera like this in some time, and all of these other things. And so do I want to have a tagline? When I used to do being back alive, I had a little tagline. We had cute little fun things that we did to remind ourselves of why we were there. And so until I felt ready for the whole world to know, to shout it from rooftops, I wanted to get a few under my belt. And I'm doing a few other things in my life, but I wanted to kind of catch up. And so I did it as an experiment. Let me go back to lives. Let me see how I feel doing them again, figure out if I think they're exhausting or not, if people still want to come, right? And so I started really small. I let people know who have taken my course, Self-Defined Living. And I also just was like, well, if I have subscribers, if they liked it the last time, let's see if they'll come back. And so I'm in this little experimental phase. So if you've joined me in this tiny experimental phase, I think we've got maybe another week or two alone before I start putting it on my social media again that I'm doing my live streams. Wanted to make sure that they stick, wanted to make sure that they work, and wanted to make sure that all the cute little gimmicks and all of the cool fun things that I wanted to see be here worked, right? And so that's why we're here. And so what that made me think about this week, and with all of, I had a really kind of challenging week in that it was a very big upset to my routine. I had some things that came up this week that are not in my control that meant kind of having an upset of routine, of chores, of my daily and weekly schedule, which is really something that's very important to me. I work really hard to make sure that my weekly schedule is as balanced as possible. So that was all up in the air. And as any other autistic will tell you, when our routine gets kind of messed with, even if it doesn't upset us, it still kind of upsets our body and our brain. And so it kind of feels there's a discomfort that comes with having your routine changed that's more than just feeling annoyed that your routine has changed. And so it was that kind of week for me. And what that meant for me was returning to basics and thinking about the gratitudes, thinking about the little joys and the little moments that we often forget to pay attention to, but we should pay more attention to when we're having a really tough week. And that was my week this week. Was like, this is a tough week. Let's find every single fucking little glimmer of hope that we can through this whole week. Let's find the joys. Let's find the gratitudes, whatever you want to call them. Let's find the glimmers. This is my new favorite thing is this word glimmers. Um, Glimmers, if you don't know what it is, I will share with you now. A glimmer is the opposite of a trigger. So we talk a lot about triggers in autism and a lot of triggers in terms of trauma, right? When we talk about our lives as late diagnosed autistics. And with that means that we don't really pay all that much or have the privilege to pay all that much attention to the good things and the things that bring us joy. So we spend a lot of time like, oh, that was sensory discomfort, but we don't spend any time going, oh, that was sensory joy, right? And so when we're having rough weeks, what we have to go seeking are these glimmers, those sensory joys, the little moments when we're able to recharge, when we have something to be grateful for, even though we're having an overall kind of tough week, right? And that was my week this week, was searching for those little glimmers. And so that's what I want to share with you. I'm going to try this out. Again, I'm sure there are lots of people who are very tech savvy and would like see this little blank blue spot. Oh, I can't even do it properly. Right here. They would probably fancy put like images here embedded into the video. I'm sure there's some how to do it on a live stream too. Don't know how to do that yet. Working on those kind of things. Learning as I go. But I took a bunch of pictures this week to remind myself of those glimmers and to be able to share those glimmers with other people. And so that's what my gratitude is about this week. My gratitude this week is gratitude for the little things, because truly the little things are the things that matter. They're the reason why we get up, those little surprises, those little joys, are the reason why we build the lives that we build, right? So I am going, this overall gratitude for this week is for the little things, all those little moments and glimmers that we have in our lives that even when it's really rough, they're still happening. And it's our job to seek them out, to give them as much attention as we're giving to the triggers that we run into, right? Preferably more attention to the glimmers, less attention to the triggers, right? So while I'm going to share my little thingies with you, my little gifts of joy this week that I took pictures of, think about those little things for you this past week, because you're going into a new week. Mondays are really a transition day between the beginning of the week and the end of the weekend, right? They kind of happen at the same time. It's that feeling. So Mondays are a great day to sort of look back on last week and say, here's what I don't want to do again from last week, and here's what I do want to do this week that worked last week, right? And when we look at the glimmers that passed us, we can think about connecting with ways to do them again, right? If we have really good ones. And so that's what I want you to think about while I'm sharing mine, and go ahead and share them in the chat. I would love to know what your little glimmers were from this past week, right? And think about how much they really impacted your days. And maybe you had a great week and that made the glimmers seem even bigger, right? So let's share them with each other. And let's make sure we do that. So I'm going to start on my little list. I got to go to my notes because otherwise I'll forget. Oh, right. So my very first glimmer from this week was realizing how grateful I am to live rurally. And this word is such a hard word for me to say. I live rurally. I live in the country, right? And I've chosen that very consciously, right? I grew up in New York City. That's not a life I want to live when I have the choice. It's too much. New York is just too much. And I love living rurally because it's never too much for me. It never feels that way to me, living out here. And so one of the benefits of living out here in the country is that I get to this little inkling into the change of seasons That only comes to folks who live near farmland, right? When you live in an area where you've got farms or ranches around you, those folks do things on, they put an autistic routine to shame. Okay. They do things on schedule, on time. We plant things, we reap what we sow, right? All of that stuff happens on a timely basis. And I get to watch the seasons, right? The kickstart to my seasons, right? Is seeing when the farmers are changing over their routines, moving from summer into fall. And so that started to happen. Oh, yeah, we have seeing family this weekend was a glimmer. Hooray. Oh, that's awesome. And so other ones like that, right? What else is happening? For you guys out there, because I'm watching the farmers roll up the wheat, and I call them cereals. They roll them into these big rolls, and they look like giant cereal pieces. And when that starts to happen, we know we're heading into a different season. That's next year's hay, right? That they're pulling out. And so I start to see that the apples are starting to come on the tree. That's another sign of fall, right? And people are pulling up what they've spent the summer planting. They're harvesting in this time. And as harvesting begins, I know that's my first sign of a change of season. And it's a little less harsh than when the weather changes, right? It lets me kind of ease into it. So really grateful for that this week and that kind of piece of life. And I don't think that I should have taken a picture of the cereal things, but I did not take a picture of the cereal things, right? Let me check. I did not. But what we did do was go kayaking. So here is my other glimmer. So, oh, that's my whole thing. You can't see all of that. You'll never know what's happening. So that is what it looks like on the lakes near me. We did a day of kayaking. That's my new hobby, my new interest is doing kayaking. And Antonio and I are very heavily into it. There's a lot of bird watching that happens. So the kayaking is what happened. And I wanted to share with you, I try to never kind of miss an opportunity to, so silly, to think about the book, to talk about the book. And so we were returning, you could see our little tiny Honda Element, right? And we have our kayak on top and we were heading out and I was like, oh, let me take a picture with the book because no matter where you go, you better bring your sunglasses. So I took that picture and this one. Oh, can't see it because I messed it up already. And that one. And there was, going to do the things that energize my life. I really do them, right? I do them because I need them. And so those days are joyful, those days that we spend in the kayak and we get to see beautiful, beautiful things like that, right? So those were my first few glimmers there. They were really beautiful, beautiful things. And then here's my next one. You guys, here in the United States, it is officially the beginning of spooky season. Do not care if you love Halloween. I love it so much that no one can take that away from me. And so it is spooky season has begun, right? As we get into fall here. And so Halloween approaches. And my first sign of that, see if I can find it now. Probably not. Was my skeleton chicken. I have to show it to you guys. I have to find it in another space. Let's see. Where are you, skeleton chicken? Oh no. Let's see. If I can't find it, I can't find it, but hopefully I can. No such luck. Okay. So in any case, the skeleton chicken, which I'll post it in the comments or something. $300 huge plastic chicken skeleton for your lawn for Halloween in our local Tractor Supply store. And that just about made my day. Cannot even tell you how excited I was. And I took pictures and I shared it with people. And I think it's amazing. And they had a little duck one, and that will be purchased and coming home with me at some point. So that was another little glimmer. I had this moment where I was like, oh, wait, it's going to be Halloween soon. I'm so excited. That's fantastic. So that was really, really fun. And then I think one of my favorite things in the world is that I experience joy, right, through other people's joy. So when I see I don't know why that is, and I'm sure there's some psychological reason to it, but when I see dogs playing and having dog joy, or I see kids having kid joy, or cats having cat joy, or even other people having people joy, that is what brings me happiness. That is what brings me joy. It fills me up in a way that other things don't. And so one of the things that brings my little family joy is on doggy bath day. We have 4 dogs that we have to bathe. But our big giant Great Dane Fiona loves bath day. She loves a bath so much she can't even. She has to be the first one in. The minute she sees that we're getting ready for bath day, she hops in the tub and she is ready. She's got to go first. It makes her feel pretty. She loves the spa day. She goes first. And so this time around, I caught a picture of her in her little bathy. Look at her. She was so excited in our bath. That's her little face. It's terrible that I can't do a better job of sharing these with you. I've got to figure it out. And then another one of her just being a sweet girl in her little bathy. And so that's where we were. That was my sweet Fiona having her bath, and she just loves us. She gets out and she comes out and she like bounds through the house with joy. She feels so good. And I imagine that it must be like a sensory explosion for her to just be covered in the warm water and get all clean and all of that stuff. And so she comes out just overstimulated and excited and ready to run around and does not understand why the other dogs do not enjoy it as much, right? She definitely does not. And let's see. Oh, okay. And my very last little glimmer that I had was I went and returned myself to doing some things related to my work that bring me joy, which I know sounds weird, but it's true. I don't get a lot of time to really feed into my creative self and to work in a very hyper focused way, like when we're alone. I do that when I'm writing. I do that when I do certain things. But this week, or the past 2 weeks, really, I've been working on rebranding my website. I'm back with the live streams. The book is out. I have the course out. Lots of things are going on. I'm working on other things that are coming out, and it was time. It was time to give the website a rebrand and kind of put to bed some of this truly inclusive leadership stuff that I was doing, kind of put it in a way that it can sit tight. And I did that, and I had the best time, you guys. I am such a dork. I am such a nerd. You can call me all the names in the book. Don't care. I had the best time playing on Canva. If anyone here else is a Canva fanatic like me, please reach out and let me know. I love playing on Canva. I love making the graphics. It is so satisfying to me. I love playing with the colors and the placement and all kinds of things. I just have such a good time on that. And so I started creating those things, and I started building my website back up. And I love it so much. Thank you, Morgan. Morgan pitching in with her Canva is the best. Canva is so much fun. Hours of my time could be spent on Canva. Just give me projects, give me things to make. I just want to make things. And so I have so much fun on there doing that. And I let myself really lean into that. And I redid my entire website. I want to say I had help. I will give Antonio credit, and I do have my colleague Isabel, who helped me out with my social media and some of my graphic design stuff because I'm only one person. So I did have some help building it, and I've had some friends who pitched in on the copy and things like that. I wish I could work better with Canva. It's brain overload. It can be brain overload, Techno Indigo, 100%, because there's just so many choices. There's just so many things you can be on, and I think that's what I just love, that I can be that detailed on it. Maybe that's what it is. But that's like a little safety space for me where I can kind of watch TV and zone out into doing Canva projects. And so I did that. And I rebuilt this website, you guys, and it came out looking better than I even imagined. Like, I had no idea that I thought that it was going to come out looking this good. I didn't think that I was going to be doing so much of it directly myself, but I did. And I remembered how, and I picked it up. And so I'm really excited. I guess I will say to you out loud, please go over to my website. It's the same old website, BeccaLaurie.com, but I rebranded the whole thing. I put on some fresh stuff for you guys. I cleaned it up, and I'm going to be working on building a Patreon that I'm also going to be adding to that website. So I can do more of this creative stuff that's directly for the people that are interested in the things I talk about, instead of these big sweeping general things. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm doing this live stream as part of that. And so please head over to my website. The link is in the description of this video. You can also just Google me and my website will come up. It is BeccaLaurie, LORY.com. And so let me know if it's accessible. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if I screwed up. Let me know if there are typos. Let me know if there are parts that are missing that you'd like to see there. Any and all of that feedback is welcome. please head over there and take a look at it. I'm really kind of proud of it. That was one of my bigger glimmers for this week. Was going over to look at it like 2 days after it was finished and being like, yeah, I still really like it. So thank you so much for that. And that was my sort of biggest gratitude of this week. And so with this week, I want to remind you guys that it really is um, truly about the little things, right? It's these little moments, these little glimmers of joy, right? That we find that are the reason to wake up the next day. And if we're not doing enough of them, we feel off balance and we have to do some correction. And so I wanted to share that with you. I had a really, really tough week in terms of feeling uncomfortable in my own skin and uncomfortable in my own life because I had this change in my routine. And I just grounded myself in all of these little glimmers, right? And it really helped me push through when it was really rough. And so I hope that you guys will take that with you. Maybe this week you'll think a little bit more about your glimmers if it tends to be a rough week. And if not, and it's a good week, take lots of pictures of all of the goodness that's happening, right? Sometimes I have to go back through my phone photos, and I do this often just to remind myself of all of the fun times and the good times, because sometimes the days can be so hard and my brain is so black and white. It just wants to see it as a hard day and it doesn't remember all the little joys. And that's what life is really about. So, with that, do a little Batman action, Superman action, switch out my glasses. And I'm going to remind you guys that this is Growing Gratitude. We come here weekly to talk about the things that are challenging about being an autistic adult and all the ways that we get ourselves through and the things that we're grateful for that keep us motivated to go into the next week. So today I say to you, I am grateful for the challenges that this week brought to me. I'm also really grateful for the opportunities it sent my way. And I'm looking forward to this week coming up and for the opportunities coming my way and the lessons that I have to take away from it. And that's the attitude I want to bring with me into the week. That's the way I want to feel about it. And so my reminder to you is to please take care of your meat suit, take care of your headspace, and make sure that you enjoy those glimmers, right? That's where we're headed. That's what we're going to be doing here. So please come back next week. I'll be here on next Monday, even though it's Labor Day here in the States, at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I would love to see you here. I'm doing this new time. It already feels better. I hope it feels better to you guys. I'll see you next week.